So if you've been looking to grow in your raised beds or in your containers and you're having some problems with it, right? It's not really, your plants aren't doing great. Some are like turning brown, some are drooping, some are thriving, but you're not really sure why everything's happening and you get concerned, then this is going to be a good video for you. This is about what to put into your containers and your grow beds. That is a mix that kind of works for everything. You'll be able to amend it to add a little more of something for certain types of plants, and we'll talk about that. But this is a base mix for your containers and your raised beds that's going to help you make it easy. And you can just water through, and it's going to give what they need nutrient-wise and help with diseases and help with retaining moisture, but not getting too moist. All of those things, we're going to talk about a mix that'll do all of that for you today. So for this grow mix I'm talking about, you've got 4 components to it, okay? So we're going to go through each of those components and how much of each thing you need and then why it's important to have these items, okay? So for this great grow mix that I'm going to talk about today, you have 4 components you're going to need, okay? So each one of them at a different percentage, and we're going to walk through that and I'll write it down for you so you can take notes if you want. But this is going to work for all your stuff. First thing you want to have is either peat moss or coco coir. And if you're not familiar with that, you can find it at your local stores. But you want 50% of your mix to be peat moss, or it's called coco coir. And if you've done a lot of farming, you have probably heard this. And if you haven't, then it might be new to you. It was new to me when I first started, but you can find this at the feed store, at any place you can normally buy grow materials. So you can find it there. Peat moss, the benefit of peat moss is it's slightly acidic. So it's gonna have a little more acid to it, okay? So the good thing about that is if you have plants that are naturally acidic and you know this, maybe you are familiar enough to know, hey, my blueberries like something more acidic, then peat moss is a great base for you, 50% peat moss. If you're not really sure if it's more acidic than just growing regular plants, maybe some vegetables, or you have a mix of plants going into this container or raised bed, then you might want to go with the coco coir. It's a little bit less acidic, so it's got less acid to it, okay? And that's the difference between the two of them as far as functionality and what you might need. Your coco coir is more of a pH neutral, okay? So it doesn't have the acid to it. pH neutral is what the key of a coco coir. They both are going to provide moisture retention and aeration. So that's important. We need to have that. So your moisture retention, meaning it's going to hold water that when you do water them, obviously it's going to hold that in, and it's not going to hold too much water though. And that's also important. And we have some other things we're going to add to help with make sure there's not too much water. Because the key a lot of times with most of our plants is overwatering or underwatering. Those are like the 2 biggest things that happen with plants that cause problems. So that's key. So again, number 1, we want 50% peat moss or coco coir, okay? Your second ingredient that you want to have in this mix is mushroom compost. And again, you can get mushroom compost at any Home Depot, Lowe's, feed store, grow store, nursery, any place like that's going to have mushroom compost probably. So you want to look for mushroom compost. It doesn't have to be organic. Sometimes they sell it organic and you can do that, but it's mushroom compost. So it's usually pretty organic, but just natural is fine. Mushroom compost is going to have nutrients in it. It's going to do a slow release of your nutrients. This is going to provide the food for your plants. It improves your soil structure as well. So that's really helpful. It supports the microbial life that lives in the soil, all that good stuff that's going to keep your plants going and help them thrive, all in the mushroom compost. So that's really key. And it's basically the nutritional backbone. Okay, so we want to make sure this is nutrient bowl here. Okay, it's going to offer nutrients for your plants. So when you water your plant, the nutrients are also going to leach into your plants and help feed them too, right? So that's your second component, is your mushroom compost, and you want this to be about 30%. 30% mushroom compost, okay? So now our third component that we're going to talk about is our worm castings. And for our worm castings, these are, again, kind of like gold as well, though. They're really great. You don't need that much of them by comparison. 15% worm castings is perfect for this mix. Worm castings, they're really gentle on your plant. And they basically work as a fertilizer, is one of their best features. However, the best part about them is they're not going to burn your plant. So if you try to use other fertilizers, if you use too much of certain types of fertilizers, it will burn your plants. A lot of even natural and organic manures and things like that can burn your plants. And so worm castings is very gentle. It's not going to burn anything. Still can help feed your plants, can help feed the microbiomes and all that fun stuff that are in your soil to keep your soil really healthy. And they also help prevent disease, which is surprising, but oddly enough, worm castings work to help prevent the disease that can be attacking your plants and in your plants. You can actually make solutions out of worm castings to help with disease prevention. We'll talk about that in another video, but they're not going to burn, and that's really awesome. And it's going to boost your microbial activities, the real key. The real key is that it boosts that microbial activity in your soil. So it's going to help your plants thrive, okay? Final component that you want to have in this mix, your fourth thing, is vermiculite. I think I spelled that right. For vermiculite, you only need 5%. So a very small percent needs to be vermiculite. But vermiculite is going to help aerate your soil. It's going to help keep it loose and fluffy. It's going to enhance the aeration in your soil so that the air can get in there and so nothing gets too damp and it helps distribute your water and your nutrients evenly. So it can help space that out so not one side is getting more than another. So that's going to help balance everything. It's also going to really improve moisture retention. Is definitely a highlight of vermiculite. Correct. There you go. So moisture retention. So those are your 4 main components. If you can mix this and just put them together in these percentages, you're going to have a phenomenal mix. It's going to actually help all of your plants thrive. Everything is going to be okay in this mix. Now, you may want to add amendments to it for certain types of plants. If you know a plant that you have maybe needs more of a certain component or a certain nutrient, you can add that. But this as a base is going to cover everything. It's what I use for all house plants. It's what you can use in your garden plants, your raised beds. It's the container growing. This is your key base. And then, as I said, you can just water. And the nutrients are going to be dispersed appropriately. It feeds your plants. It keeps it from being too moist. It keeps it from being too dry. It does all the things. So it just makes it really, really easy. So I hope this helps you out. If this was helpful to you, please like and subscribe below. Check out our channel, and I'll see you another day. Thanks.